All right. All right. Are you ready to go live?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. And we're going live. We're slowly going live. We're live, I hope. Yes, we're live. Okay.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Welcome, Outposters. With me today, I have our good friend and artist, Gotta Have My Pops. Or should I call you Blair? I don't know which.
Well, if you call me Blair, I have to do the Blair voice, so.
Do you have diabetes?
I was miraculously cured.
That's good. So, how are you doing tonight?
I just got off work, and it was a shitstorm today, so that was fun.
So, we had planned to do a little something else, and we're going to move that to Saturday. I had Dom and Ben that was going to work with me, but they it just turned out to be not good for them tonight. I don't want to say bad things about them in public.
You can just think them, and we can read it in your eyes.
No, I'm giving them crap. They you know, it is what it is, and we all have our own lives to deal with, so I got no problems, but we are going to do that on Saturday. So look for that. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. You got anything on your plate you wanted to discuss in particular, or are you just along for the ride?
I guess I'm along for the ride, but don't worry, I'll run my mouth.
Well, that's what we're here for, I think. So those of you, welcome. This is the Outpost Frequencies. I'm not sure what episode this is, maybe 11. But yeah, we've been moving this along. This will be on your various podcast streams. We did get an invite from Amazon to please put our podcast on their podcasting network. So sure.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a complete a sellout and
Let's
whore.
go ahead and get in bed with Jeff Bezos.
For that kind of money, I probably would. So then I'd have more time to do this. But you can find us all over the podcasting. iTunes or wherever you need to go. We also have a lot going on the YouTube channel. And then, of course, we got lastmovieoutpost.com. And we have stories up there every day. Our writers are madmen. They are putting up stories every single day. And we try to keep ahead of the latest movie news, but we try not to put too much of a political spin on it unless, of course, Hollywood forces us to, which they do quite a bit. And then hopefully you and I got a little project. I don't want to talk about it quite yet. I don't want to unveil it quite yet, but you and I got a project that we're working on. So, keep a lookout on the site for that. I think you guys are going to like it. So if you need to contact us, I'm at Drunken Yoda 1 on Twitter. We are also at Movie Outpost, on Twitter. We are /Last Movie Outpost, on Facebook. And if you want to email us, contact us at lastmovieoutpost.com. I think I got all the housekeeping out of the way, so let's get right into it. So what I wanted to talk about specifically was, well, let's go into the DC bloodbath today, and I will transition us over here so we can read some of this. But DC had a major bloodbath today, and I guess most of the time Warner had a major bloodbath today, or Warner Studios, or whatever they call it now. Warner Media. That's right. So, one, they're going to try to put a lot of focus on HBO Max. And that's a hilarious shit show because HBO Max can't get themselves on Amazon Fire Stick or Roku for some reason. Now,
legal entanglements.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of get the issues with Amazon. because Amazon's got their own streaming service, and they're trying to make things, all theirs. But I don't understand the issues with Roku. I'm completely clueless, because Roku seems pretty agnostic about their streaming services. They're their own deal. I would think they would want everybody on it. So I'm not clear on why there's an issue with that. But HBO Max is where they're going, which means that one of my more enjoyable streaming services, I have HBO Max mostly because I already have HBO on my DirecTV, and so they gave it to me, but it's got most of what DC Universe has, but it's not going to have any of the comic books, and I kind of enjoyed that.
Well, if DC Universe folds, we had better get your Batman animated series universe stuff over on HBO Max. That's all I'm saying.
I believe they will. I'm not sure. Is it there now? Or is it just...
last time I checked. They have a limited number of DC content, but it's mostly some of their more recent direct-to-video movies and stuff like that.
I see. So my guess is that all the video stuff will end up there. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And by God, I got to have that 1970s Captain Marvel in the RV traveling around the country show from Sid and Marty Krofft. That was gold.
I guess I missed out on that one.
Don't watch it. It's one of those things that you watch when you were a kid, like when you're 7, you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then you go back and you watch it with the adults, like, why did I ruin my 7-year-old memories?
I don't know, I never could get into Captain Marvel. My dad used to show me the old serials, and it was just like, okay. He's like Superman, but not.
I love the idea of Captain Marvel. I don't know. I got into him later once he got bought by DC. And I liked the magical elements of it and that sort of thing. And I think they were able to come up with some interesting ideas. Because it's like Superman crossed with Dr. Fate sometimes. And so they would get into some really bizarre stuff, which I enjoyed. But that was much, much later. By the 80s and 90s that they really started getting him to stand out from Superman.
Yeah, to me, Captain Marvel was always very much on the kiddie spectrum, the more whimsical DC stuff. Did they ever try to make him grimdark? I don't know how you do that with Captain Marvel.
They did a little bit, and it was more about I guess the Freddie Freeman character kind of took over. And from there, they made him just stay on the Rock of Eternity. Like he became kind of a Doctor Strange thing. I like the idea of a little kid in a. See, they never did this in the original comics. In the 30s, it was a whole different person. But they really leaned into the little kid brain inside an adult body kind of thing. And then you throw in all the Doctor Strange lunacy, and it became interesting to me anyway.
I did think that Freddy was the best part of the Shazam movie.
Yeah. Levi did a great job, I think. But he was great. Anyway, don't watch that old show. And there's all kinds of old shows, like the old Wonder Woman show is on there. And for some reason they don't have, and I there's another one, I can't figure out what the deal is with it, but the old Batman and Robin show is like really hard to get. And I don't know why it's such a... You don't find it streaming or reruns or...
The one from the 60s?
Yeah, it's nowhere. The Adam West one.
There's a reason for that.
What is it?
It was produced by 20th Century Fox, and they hold the rights to it. So
okay.
Of course, they hate Warner Brothers, so...
That's funny. Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that's one I may have to obtain someplace, because I've never really watched it through, but I love the old Adam West movie.
A kid loves it. I got the first season for it. He wants to watch it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're a kid, you see it, completely straight. It's Batman and Robin, and he's fighting crooks.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you're an adult, you start seeing all the little double entendres and stuff, and you start going, wait a minute, this is way better than I thought it was.
You also have to go through that adolescent period of hating it.
Yeah.
Be dark. and he's not. He's all man dancing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, where you don't get the joke. So, Warner Media layoffs have affected a significant number of high-level figures at the comic powerhouse DC. Among those losing their positions are the editor-in-chief Bob Harris, Senior VP of Publishing, Strategy, and Support Services Hank Canals, VP Marketing Creative Service Jonah Wayland, VP Global Publisher Initiatives and Digital Strategy Bobby Chase, Senior Story Editor Brian Cunningham, and Executive Editor Mike Doyle, who oversaw the rollout of the Black Label graphic novels. Is that the one where they had Superman's or Batman's dick? I think.
I missed that one. I don't think I missed it.
I think that was the only thing notable about the Black Label comics was that one of the issues had Batman's dick. 1/3 of DC editorial ranks. This is just in DC Comics. 1/3 of DC editorial ranks are being laid off. Gone. And one source said DC Universe was DOA as soon as the AT&T merger happened. So, I don't know what the future is of DC. I like reading all the older DC comics and even going back to some of the 30s stuff. And DC Online had all that. I don't think they're going to put that on HBO Max. But you never know.
DC is going to have to adapt or die.
Yeah, and
they have lots of good IPs, but they do not know how to market themselves. They don't know how to properly use their characters.
Well, take a look. Did you see the variant? And I'm showing it for our audience right now, but if you saw it, the Wonder Woman 1984 variant.
Yes.
Look, the way I figure it, if I could have done that, it's not good. And that's not good. I mean, forget the body image stuff for a second. It's just horribly drawn. I mean, it is talentless in art. And you're our artist, so you tell me. Am I completely wrong there? I mean, somebody else could have done the coloring and everything.
Take another look at that. I mean, it's definitely not comic book style. I'm seeing a little bit of a Cartoon Network modern style, like Adventure Time style stuff in that. Maybe that's what they're going for.
It's garbage. But
I'm assuming that's supposed to be Wonder Woman's long-lost twin sister, Nubia.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Maybe
that's Nubia Kardashian. And she's got some junk in her trunk. That is just horrifyingly bad.
I mean, Wonder Woman's just let herself go. I mean, I guess she doesn't get her powers from her physique, so why keep it up?
Yeah, the Amazons were supposed to be, the pinnacle of female strength and beauty. Both.
How do you know that's not the pinnacle of female beauty? I mean, look at the music videos we got going on now.
Oh, I know. I definitely know. That's just, I mean, I don't know what then they wonder why they're laying so many people off. Then they wonder why nobody wants to buy their fuck comics. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to read this. Nobody wants to see Wonder Woman looking like this. Even if it's like to appeal to blacks, I don't think even blacks are like going, this is what you give us? This is the best you could do for us? Whites get just...
People who are not going to buy the comic are their target audience.
That's a bizarre business strategy to me. Absolutely bizarre.
They get some brownie points with the Twitter crowd, but that's it, really. I mean,
so two of the people I heard is that Andy Corey and Zoe Quinn, who is the SJW gamer hag, I think she's a trans female, are both getting booted out. So thank God for that. And I have a different story here. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Sorry, people. I'm a one-man show here. Congratulations, Kamala Harris. Camel Toe Harris, as I like to call her.
I actually had to look up her Wikipedia page because I'm like, who is this?
Okay, so on Monday, Warner began a round of layoffs, letting go hundreds of staffers amid the coronavirus crisis that crippled Hollywood with shelved tentpoles and production shutdowns. Sources said the first wave of layoffs is to be around 600 staffers with a heavy focus on Warner Brothers Studios. Steven says that HBO Max will remain one of key growth focus areas for the company. He says he doesn't know when they'll be releasing films. Not certain when they're going to go because of further delays in some titles, the cinema reopening and theatrical release schedules have remained in flux. So part of this is Corona. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's bull. I mean, theaters have been shut down for 6 months, right? So, but the Andy Corey, there's that damn thing again. Let's see here. Okay, so hashtag power bottom. That's what they're putting for Wonder Woman's picture. Hashtag power bottom. Wow. Okay, so don't you blink at me, you stupid light. Okay, male artist Frank Cho was forced to quit illustrating Wonder because his PC drips SJW writers objected to any sex appeal in Wonder Woman at all. Well,
wasn't Frank Cho the guy who kind of made her a little bit chubby? I mean, not excessively so, but, she had some meat on her bones. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I didn't think so.
Body positivity, come on.
So I can't find if, I could make this easy on myself and do a search. Here we go. Included in the sackings, and this is still rumor, not confirmed, left-wing SJW ideologue Andy Corey, one of the absolute cancers killing the industry, who brought in Gamergate gal Zoe Quinn to write comics for DC, despite having no comic book experience and no writing experience outside of Depression Quest and a failed Kickstarter. Corey filled DC's Vertigo imprint with angry yet untalented SJW freaks, and Vertigo was canceled within a year. So, if those two go, I'd be extraordinarily happy.
Maybe this is what all this is about. Cleaning house.
I think it's part of it. Dan Didio was fired last year, and Jim Lee was supposedly in charge, but he's been pushed out. I don't know, but I mean, they've obviously just destroyed it. And then I think Warner and the AT&T layoffs are part of what this is all about because of COVID. So one of the things I want to talk about is I'll shrink it. I don't know if you guys can read it or not. You know what? I don't think you can, so I'm going to put it just you and me. Pops, just you and me. But I will read a little bit about this. So, in 48, excuse me. The Hollywood antitrust case of 1948. The Paramount case, the Paramount decision, the Paramount decree. So, it was a landmark United States Supreme Court antitrust case that decided the fate of film studios owning their own theaters. In other words, Paramount could no longer have the Paramount Theater. And holding exclusive rights on which theaters would show their movies. So, because of that is why there are no theaters owned by Warner Brothers or Paramount or Universal. They're all owned by AMC or Dickinson or, whoever. Bob's Theater. So in order to have that model happen, what they have to do is they give the movies to the distributors, but then they get back, like in the first week, they'll get back like 80% of the ticket sales. And the second week, it may be down to 60%. And it keeps going on like that until you get to about 8 or 10 weeks. And then it's reversed. They get like the producer gets 20% and the theater owner gets 80% of the ticket sales. Now, this was all well and good when you didn't have VCRs, DVDs, streaming, Blu-ray, all these ways to get the movies now, and that all the movies do all their business within the first 3 weeks. They do like 90% of their business. The blockbusters and all that will do so much of their business within the first 3 weeks. And then it just trickles in after that. And with COVID, I don't think theaters are going to have, I mean, they're not going to get the people coming in again. Although I'm seeing drive-ins are getting killer business right now. And as a quick tangent, I guess Walmart is going to start showing movies in their parking lots like drive-ins.
Now, how are they going to stop looky-loos from coming in and watching? I guess it's free, though, right?
I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it, but
maybe they're just trying to get rid of the drive-ins. Maybe Walmart's just like, no, we got to put everyone out of business.
That could be part of it, yeah.
That's the thing. My town has a drive-in, and they're going to suffer when Walmart starts doing this crap.
So here's my problem. The reason why they did this, because they said that it was, the big five at that time was Paramount, MGM, Warner Brothers, Fox, and RKO. And then you had the little three, which was Universal, Columbia, and United Artists. All right. And the big five could own their own studios, which means if they had prime location or something like that, they would show only their stuff. Whereas 20th Century Fox or Universal or United Artists would have a lot of trouble getting their stuff shown, or they wouldn't get as, they didn't have as big a reach as some of the others. And
should have put it in theaters then.
Well, and they did. That was the problem. But remember, there was no home. This is 1948. So I get why they did it back then. But let me ask you, is there any difference in a production house owning its own theater, a Paramount owning Paramount Theaters, or a production house owning its own streaming service, Disney owning Disney Plus, Warner owning HBO Max? To me, what is the difference between those two? Because I can't see it.
I think the primary difference is the streaming service is not a form of media. The internet is the media through which the streaming service comes on. So if Disney, say, became an internet service provider, which they probably are at some point or another with some company, but
sure,
that to me would be more of a problem than having your own streaming service, or in this case, having your own theater. I personally have no problem with that. I think that quality would go up because these are our movies. We want them to look good,
So in this day and age, because of the first of all, there's a whole lot of independent studios. There's a whole lot of different things going on. I can understand that if we went back to this situation where the theaters were owned by the production companies, that you would have to go to different theaters to see different movies. But I think that there should be some sort of partnership at this point, or that maybe the theater, the production houses could have, kind of similar to how they created Hulu. You had like various different producers come together and build Hulu, that they could build this kind of thing, because I don't think that theaters right now on their own with this model, especially when they have to compete against home releases and that sort of thing, can continue this way. And they make all their money from food and charging you, like $75 for popcorn, and how when you have something like COVID, I mean, the whole thing just completely falls apart. I don't know how they're going to not go bankrupt, for one. And if we do want theaters to be a thing, and I don't want theaters to die, I do want I do want the content to get better. I do want the politics to get out of it, but that doesn't mean I want the theater to die. I like going to the theater. I like the big screen and some of the technology that they put into it now. The new Dolby stuff is really cool. And I like, that they're putting bars and stuff. It's an experience and it's fun. But the longer this goes on, I just see it as a dying thing. And I think that this particular court case is standing in the way of or is going to be the thing that destroys theaters in the long run. Because if the production companies could own their own theater, then you cut out the middleman. And at this point, I'm like, well, they own their own streaming services. I mean, Netflix is kind of like a theater. It's production company agnostic, other than they have their own stuff. But for a while, they were production company agnostic. They were distribution, especially when they were doing DVDs. And now Disney Plus competes against them, and they can't have any Disney stuff anymore. How is that? I mean, to me, that feels like antitrust still. And that's where I'm kind of like going, okay, well, how do we get this so that theaters won't die? Because I think they will. And drive-in is fun, but I still feel like it's a novelty. I don't think it's a real good experience for seeing the movie. The screen is dim. The sound is crap. It's fine. It's fun just to sit out in the backyard. But if you're a cinephile like me, you want the best looking. You want to you feel it, hear it, the whole 9 yards.
It might have to become something that is even more so than it is now, an event kind of thing. Something that's more niche, obviously, because it is about the experience, and I think a lot of people are losing sight of that. They're just, I want to be entertained. And I don't know, maybe there needs to be advocacy groups or something like that, this to sort of remind people about the importance of experiencing things as a group. Because when it comes down to it, that's the big thing with theaters. It isn't the size of the screen. It isn't the seats. It's having that communal experience. Because, the nation, I don't know about the world, but the nation itself is becoming a lot less religious. And,
well,
in some cases, that replaces it.
So, yeah, I think there has been a religion that's replaced it, but I won't go down that road right now.
In the sense of a communal experience.
I get you. I mean, you think about those, when you saw some of the movies back in the day where people were all reacting and getting emotional and that kind of stuff. One of the most popular channels on YouTube is called Audience Reactions, where they sit there and they tape record, or audio record the people in the theater while they're watching it. And like the Infinity War one was hilarious. I mean, it was great. It was fun to watch, fun to listen to. And yeah, I get you. I think you're on the right track there.
And another nail into that coffin was the just abolishment of midnight screenings after that Dark Knight Rises screening got shot up.
Yeah.
It's just, no, the midnight screening is for the fans. It is for the people who are diehard fans, and you are going to be there. It's like going to a convention. All right? That's what it's for. You get rid of that, you lose something.
Oh, what do you think Rocky Horror was?
Exactly.
That was awesome back in the day. And it was nothing but audience participation, and now you can't do that anymore. So yeah, there is something that's so I guess we got two different things. We've got the communal experience that it is definitely an American art form and an American activity. Yes, other countries do it, of course, but I think it's one of those things that's uniquely, started in America and became. I mean, we've always had the big movie companies, and we still are the ones that produce the movies that everybody wants to see. As much as they sometimes try to destroy those properties, we still do it. But
we popularized it. I mean,
absolutely.
It was the French really that started it.
Fair enough. I know the guy did the moon thing, but I agreed. I don't want to take anything away from the French. They do just fine on their own. But certainly we popularize it. Certainly it's and the movie theater experience is something that I think I had with my parents. I took my kids to it. We've had some, bonded on a lot of different movies, and but something you don't quite get at home. And I'm hoping that so you got that part of it, but then you got the economics part of it. And I think the economics part of it is the piece that I don't see it. I don't see you be able to continue in the model that it is, and it's going to be stuck that way because of that court case. I think the production companies need to be able to own their own theaters. And I don't think we're in a situation anymore where it's difficult to get from one theater to the other, or that you couldn't have the Paramount and the Universal. You could have a whole theater district, right? I mean, they used to call it that. And you could have 4 or 5. They don't have to be megaplexes then anymore. They could be, a 4-screen theater. So what? And then if they want to rent out to indie stuff or local stuff, I don't think that the court case or the decision makes sense in this economic market anymore.
Although I would like to see more repertory houses.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's been part of the cool thing about this resurgence of drive-ins is they're showing all the classics.
Yeah. I saw Ghostbusters just a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic. And we're going to go see, they're showing The Karate Kid this week. Which
I'll have to check my local listings.
Yeah. So let's see. We got 8-9 people watching. This is a new record. Let me bring up the chat here, and let's see what people are saying. Pop it out. Okay. Give me a second here while it comes up. Bop, 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 bop. Coming up slowly. There we go. Okay, so Matt, Yoda, live on a school night. Yes, I am. We take what nights we can when we can. Matt, I would pay $30 all day long to rent a new release movie in the comfort of my own home. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get sometimes the communal experience is a double-edged sword. He says, starts the time I want. I can pause it for bathroom breaks, drink my own wine, no idiots on cell phones. If it's a family movie, it's cheaper than taking the family to the movie. More convenient. It's a win-win. I don't think he's wrong. If there's one thing they haven't been able to do very well. So I think that my idea would help with the costs, especially for the refreshments and stuff. But it doesn't help with morons who yell or on their cell phones or are inappropriately loud or talking to each other. There's nothing you can do about that.
Well, nothing short of ejecting them from the theater.
Well, yeah, and it's one of the reasons I don't go to NFL games or baseball games anymore. I'll watch it at home. And first of all, especially football. Because it's usually in the winter months, and winter in Kansas City isn't usually balmy. So I would prefer watching it on TV. I think you get a better experience. And then the people in the stands, because they get drunk and everything, just gets crazy. And now they're serving alcohol in the theaters. I kind of get his point.
I mean, who doesn't like to sneak booze into the theater, especially if it's going to be a bad movie?
Oh, nowadays they got a bar in the theater. Ours got a full bar.
You don't even need to do that. You can just
you can buy it legally. It's only $75.
You want to gouge. You want.
That's right. One Michelob, $300. 4K is so cheap now. 8K coming. Dom says the sound systems in cars are vastly better now, but you could probably only do so much about screen quality. I think he's talking about drive-ins.
Yeah.
It is true they are better now, but they're not exactly 5.1 either. I mean, I usually only have the 4 speakers, 2 in front and 2 in back, and they usually just pick up stereo. They're not doing Dolby surround in the car. Which, quite frankly, is probably a good idea. I don't want to hear something coming around like some of these songs that have a siren or something. Shit! Yeah,
Scratching on the side of your vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a raccoon or is it the movie? I don't know. I mean, the one thing Matt mentioned is being able to pause it, and I understand the convenience, but I really hate it when I'm watching a movie with my friends and everybody wants to pause it every 5 minutes. It really takes you out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I would say it also takes, like, I try to make sure that I've emptied as much as I can and I don't drink too much during the movies. And I always sit on an end. I don't like sitting in the middle because I don't want to crawl over people if I do have to go. And it's mostly because I hate it when people crawl over me when they have to go and get in my way.
Crawling.
Just don't like it. Matt, however, Rocky Horror ain't no good by yourself at home. That's to your point. See, it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, there's goods and bads about both of them. I want both of them. I want to have the choice of both of them. If theaters go away, I've only got the one then. And I would miss that. And that's the part I'm really concerned about. I don't know if between COVID, people not wanting you to go to the theaters because they're too worried about COVID, if economically they're going to make it. And I just don't know. I mean,
to tie it in with what you were talking about earlier with DC Comics, I think both industries are going to have some massive change. I don't think either are going to go away completely, but they're going to have to do some restructuring, because there is a lot of fat in both industries. Maybe that's why all those guys are getting fired. Maybe they're useless.
Well, they are. I mean, they did screw up, but the content, that's a whole other discussion, and that's the studios committing suicide with all their stupid woke content or this weird desire to take these properties of these heroes that we like and turn them into horrible wretches that nobody wants to watch so that they can make room for the new woke. I don't know. I keep saying woke, but I mean, I just don't know what else to call it. It's so weird how they take it. Here's a thing we like. You like this? Good. Now I just shit all over it.
I think the word woke is so useful because when you are using it, you are definitely pointing out the people who are not sincere about it. They are doing it either to save face or because they somehow think it's going to make them look good. They are not the true believers.
I'd agree. They're doing it not because they love the property, but because they hate you and they know you love the property. I mean, really. You're a white guy. We know you love Superman. We know you love Star Wars. We know you love Indiana Jones. We know you love Star Trek. We're going to destroy those things. That's what Gamergate was all about and everything else. And so that's one thing. Now, there's only, they were able to tread water economically. COVID has really destroyed them. And if they think people are going to come back to watch this stuff and risk a disease, whether it's in their head or not, I mean, they're in trouble.
I think the ideal situation and something we should be building toward with everything we can is hastening an end to the remake era. The remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it.
It's gotta go.
I think that is what really is behind all of this. Because in the back of people's mind, they are tired of seeing the endless reboots. They want something new. Nobody's delivering it, so they're walking away. And that is, I think, a natural process. You've got your creation and your destruction cycle. We're at the sucky end of that, but eventually they're going to be forced to come up with new content. And that's when the new business models will emerge. I mean, something's going to come along, but it will be different.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they do want... people do want to watch stuff. I mean, there's no end to that. It's just there's so much of it that it's not like when we were growing up, or at least when I was growing up, because I'm very old. You only had the few stations. You only had a few movie theaters. There wasn't just this endless array of things to entertain you now, and everything is competing to get your attention. But I still think the theaters managed to hang out. I mean, it wasn't like they weren't making money. You can look at the box office receipts. They were making money. But you're right. I think an industry that's been held aloft by basically the Marvel movies, which in their own way are kind of like remakes. I mean, it's not like it's a brand new property. It was just a property that had been around for so long, but they just did something very successful with it. And I'm not trying to dish on the Marvel stuff. I think I loved it. It was a lot of fun, but that's not going to fly anymore because they kind of ended it. They'll put out more Marvel movies, yes, but it will never be like it was, that crescendo up to Infinity War and Endgame. Plus, a lot of the original people aren't going to be a part of it. So, to your point, what are they going to come up with? It's got to be something more original. They got to start coming up with new properties. And it's sad and it's frightening because it's like, what will this be? The end of theaters? Will it all be home theater now? Maybe that's inevitable. Maybe the theater experience is just not going to hang on. And COVID hastened it. I don't know.
I think as humans, we thrive on communal events. That's always been something we've done. So that's not going to go away. We'll figure something out.
I hope so. Because right now, the only communal event that's going on are riots. And I don't have a lot of fun on those.
Hands across America.
Yeah. 30 million people pay $30 to watch, and it's 900 million, and the studio keeps it all. Boom. Yeah, in a streaming situation, that's right. They keep 100%, which is why I'm saying that if you go to where they own the theaters again, there wouldn't be that middleman. Matt was asking, what does when it costs $15 to go to the movie, how much does the studio keep? It's on a stair step situation, Matt. I talked about it before, but at the very beginning when it comes out, they keep like 80% of the ticket price. And then after 8 or 10 weeks, they keep like 20%. The problem for the theater is that all of the ticket sales happen in the first 3 weeks. I mean, not all, but let's face it, probably 80 to 90% of it. So the theater is just getting crumbs for most of it. So,
I think maybe these production companies don't like the theaters. Maybe that's why they're doing all these streaming options, why they're trying to narrow the window between theatrical and streaming or whatnot. Because they don't want to lose that money, even if it is a percentage.
Well, certainly AMC kind of capitulated, and the rest of the theater association was pretty pissed about it. I think they made a deal with, I think it was Universal, or was it? I forget who they made it with, but they got some exclusives for a few weeks. I don't know if that's going to change how that's going to work, but yeah, there's a lot of you're right about one thing. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
I wonder if there was similar conversations being had in the 60s when TV was coming into its own and the Western was on its way out, and what's going to be next? Something always comes along.
Yeah, it just feels like this remake-a-palooza just seems like we've been in this for a while now. I want to say...
It's going to die soon. It's got to.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Keep announcing all these new things, and it's met with yawns and vitriol. I mean, the execs behind Star Trek, for instance, they have to be jumping out of windows at this point. You know, they put on a brave face. Oh, yes, it's doing really well. And if you look at the numbers, if you look at the audience reactions, it's not.
No, I agree. It's not been anywhere near as well. Yeah, but what do you think? I mean, Star Trek had an 18-year run. And if you want to include the movies into that, you could say a 26-year run between 1979, when the first Star Trek movie came out, 87, it's Next Gen. You had 87 through 2005. You had all kinds of shows. And it wasn't until Enterprise that it started fading. But it wasn't because, I rewatched Enterprise recently. I didn't really watch it the first time because I was like really disappointed in it as compared to what we had gotten before. Voyager wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. But I went and rewatched it and I was like, Enterprise isn't that bad because now I have something to compare it to, and it's the garbage of Discovery and Picard. And you're like going, okay, so originally it wasn't as good because it was tired, and the group that had done it had been doing it too long, and they needed some new people on it. But now it's not as good because the like you said, it's people who don't care about Star Trek. They have less talent. They don't care about Star Trek, and all they care about is these weird political cult that they're a part of. So I
don't mind politics in my Star Trek, but you have to have good writing.
Yeah. They've always had politics in Star Trek. You're right. But they've had terrible writing. Our stream is terrible right now. I don't know why. It was doing fine at the beginning, and then just recently it's just kind of gone to shit. So I apologize to that, but I will put up the video later, and we will try to, and then I'll put up the audio, and it'll be in much better condition. So sorry about that. Internet is what it is, folks. YouTube is what it is, and they're probably throttling me because I said woke too many times.
Overlords are angry.
They're mad at me. I don't care.
Send them a message.
That's right. Yeah, I'm recording anyway. What are you gonna do? So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I think we've beat the horse to death. Unless you got anything more you'd like to throw in there.
The drive-in will never die.
It apparently will not. And boy, oh boy, does it have... I can't get there early enough to get a decent parking space. You think you do, and it is just backed up down the street. And then, like the first time...
People need that community, man.
They need it, even though they're all locked in their cars with their air conditioning on. It's weird, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We went to go see Back to the Future, and we got there like 2 cars too late. Couldn't get in. And then we went and saw Ghostbusters, and we were able to get in, but I was still at the tail end of the line, and I got there much earlier than I did before. So now I know I got to get there way too early. I like your Frankenstein picture, by the way.
No, thank you.
Is that Karloff?
Yes.
Yep. Looking good.
I mean, I never got into Glenn Strange.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really seen the 1930s Universal stuff, and
check it out.
I feel like a traitor or something. Or
I mean, okay, the House of Frankenstein movies are fun, but Glenn Strange, and he does a decent job, but it's just he doesn't have that imposing side to him that Karloff has. His is more sympathetic.
My understanding was the 2 Karloff ones, and correct me if I'm wrong, was just Frankenstein and then Bride of Frankenstein.
I think he also did Son of Frankenstein.
Did he do Son of Frankenstein? But they say Bride is even better.
Bride's fantastic.
Than the first one, and the first one is considered a classic. So, yeah, I need to watch all those original ones, Dracula and The Wolfman, and
Bride covers more territory, like tone-wise. And the first Frankenstein is very much horror from a 30s viewpoint. Bride has a lot more stuff in there. It has some crazy stuff, like homunculi, and just the character of Dr. Pretorius is very entertaining. He's just, yes, I'm evil, yes. Very campy character, and it has all this pathos with the monster, and looking for someone who's like him, and of course then she'll have nothing to do with him. I'm spoiling the movie for you if you haven't seen it.
I've seen where he meets her for the first time, and she just screams. It's like most of my blind dates. But yeah. I feel you, Frank. I feel you. So, Richard Stanley is looking good. That's what Gary says. So yeah, I will. That's something I'm going to have to get. Maybe I'll make that a column or something where I'll take myself a trip through the classic Universal monsters, which they keep trying to bring back.
Blu-ray box set. It's awesome.
Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to have to start buying Blu-ray again. I'm getting a little worried about how these damn companies are changing our. If you guys haven't listened to that podcast, I talked about it where I called it. I called the streaming editing of some of these movies cinematic vandalism, which it absolutely is.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So. Well, I think we've had a good night. We've had 9 concurrent viewers. It's too bad the stream has kind of gotten wacko, but as I said, I will put up the actual one. Pops, we will. I don't know when we're going to announce our little project. It may be a few weeks yet, at least. I
got to get off my ass.
I understand. I got the same problem. I've got a huge video I'm working on. And it's one I've had kind of working on for years, and I kind of put it aside. But I've always had the script, and I've always had the voiceover. I decided I'm finally going to get back and get the damn thing done. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh my God, this is going to be enormous. So it's much more. It's much more. I think it's a comment on the culture on a lot of things. It's going to be much more in the vein of my PCU or Ghostbusters one, if you've watched either of those. But hopefully with better production values. Those early ones, man, especially PCU. That's when I was like, how does sound work? I don't get it. So now I'm starting to figure that kind of stuff out. But, thank you very much for jumping on. I would have been flailing here trying to do it on my own.
I wanted to watch you suffer, but
I get that a lot. I've noticed though, I don't get on our little community when people are making all kinds of photoshops, goofy photoshops. I somehow don't get on there. I have a feeling I frighten people, and I don't mean to. So.
I maybe this is just a theory. I think you are just too respected.
That's sad. You guys obviously don't know me well enough. If I'm that respected, you guys have carte blanche.
I'm not gonna do a gay porn gif with Rationalist Yoda. I mean, he's too much of a. A well-rounded guy,
Oh, ouch. What are you doing to me? This is insulting, I gotta tell you. Like, who hasn't done some gay porn?
Okay, I'm just gonna take that snippet and make like a...
you guys have fun with that.
Who doesn't like gay porn?
Who hasn't done gay porn? Yeah. You guys, you have all the permission in the world to make just as much fun of me as anybody else. I am not above that sort of thing, and I don't want to be. I do not want to be thought of as above that sort of thing, or that I would have a problem with it. I deserve to be taken down a peg as much as anybody with all my self-important little videos. So, and Pops, I appreciate it. I really do. And all of you that hung on and listened this whole time, I really appreciate it. I will try to get you an updated copy. And for the rest of you, please join us. First, subscribe to the channel. We need subscribers. I would like to get up to 100 subscribers. I think I need 500 to get so I can embed these streams into the LMO site so that you can actually watch them there instead of having to go to the channel. But more than anything, we'd like to be able to, bring ads on this sort of thing. And we're not proud. We're whores. We'll do whatever we have to get that money to support this place. But also, we'd like to, just come on down. Tell us what you'd like to see. I'm love suggestions. I've got a whole list of overlooked movies that I'm going to be going through over the next year because it's going to take that long to probably get through them all. But and I've got other things, and of course we do these streams. You and I got a project. I keep teasing it, and I'm going to keep teasing it.
So now I got to do it.
That's right. I put you on the spot. And then we have, we got, of course, the site itself. McLeod and Stark, they are just pumping out stories left and right. I throw something up there once in a while. And you do Cellular Sirens, is that correct?
I think that's Ben.
Is that Ben? I thought it was you. I don't know why. Ben, I apologize, but the Cellular Siren stuff is great. And so is the comic stuff. Those of you who like comic book art, we got a lot of good response on our last one about original comic book art pages. I am stretching this out to get to an hour. Just so you know, I'm this is a lot of filler here, and I don't care. It's my show. I'll do what I want.
Plug after plug.
Plug after plug. Yes. But, if you watch that, he gave me a lot of good information that I didn't realize that was a thing. Collecting original comic book panels. And,
it's a wealthy people thing.
It definitely is. So that tells you all you need to know about Ben, because I'm definitely not going to be doing that. And we are also, of course, we've got all the articles, like I said, and Twitter, Facebook. I don't know, podcasting. We'll keep it up. We'll keep doing more stuff, but come on in. And I'm going to do another open thread tomorrow. Going to use your art. I'm going to put that up. So watch for that for those of you on the main site. lastmovieoutpost.com. And I believe, is it today or is it now? I got to look. I'm sorry. I got to look. Let's see here. I don't want to shut that one because then I'll cut our stream off. That would be bad. But I believe we are just about at a year. I don't think it's... let me see when the very first post was. Okay. What, updates again? I just updated it. WordPress, stop it. Oh my god, we got 70 pages of posts in where we put them. The very first one was published on 8/21. We are 10 days away from being our 1 year anniversary.
We're gonna have to do something special.
August 21st. So yes, I think we'll set up a stream for that. We need to get as many people that are a part of this as possible, get to meet the gang. So
we need to get Stark and McLeod on here.
Absolutely, we do.
That's going to be a chore because they're over across the ocean.
They are. We'll have to do it. I can't do it on the 21st. Crap! I cannot do it on the 21st.
What's more important here?
Taking my daughter to college in New York. Yeah, but maybe we could do something that week, the week of the anniversary.
Record something and pretend it's live.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do something. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do something earlier, and then I'll set it to to premiere on the 21st. McLeod, Stark, Ben, Dom, and everybody else, whoever I'm not thinking of, I apologize, but all of you guys, I think we need to do a big one, and let's meet the crew. And we won't do it live. We'll do it Memorex, and then we'll put it up there later. I think that's a great idea. We'll get it done somehow. Now that I've said it, I'm putting everybody on the spot live. They're gonna beat the shit out of me.
Speak life.
That's right. I'll get back on. It's like, why my account destroyed? All right. Last word?
I'll leave that to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for coming on. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you on the next stream. Take care, everybody.
Adios.
Adios.